Hey everybody, Econ with Dave. Let's start it off right now. The legend himself, Darth Pell. House prices outpace income growth over the past 40 years. Median household income and median house prices in the United States in current dollars. Darth Pell says, how is this even possible? Interest rate manipulation? Well, let's break it down and let's actually see. So the blue line in the image shows that the median U.S. household price is climbing from roughly $84,000 from 1985 to around $428,000 in 2023. Well, the orange line, that is considered the median household income, inches up from 24K to 81K. The result, the price to income ratio swelled from 3.6x to 5.3x over 4 decades, meaning today's typical home costs more than 5 years of a typical family's gross pay. So what does that mean? Okay, so if the median house price in 1985 was $84,000 and the median income family made 24, that was 3.6. All right, it's fair. Maybe you might have to save up a little bit of money. Maybe you need to get another job. You can kind of bootstrap your way, get up that 24 to around 30 to 35, 36 if you really work hard enough. Put that money away, get some payments ready for that mortgage, and we're going to be good to go. Now, in the 2000s, the house price, now this is 15 years later, the house price went from $84,000 to $169,000. The median income went from $24,000 to $42,000, and then it went from 3.6 to 4. So it was a slight increase. People are getting squeezed a little bit, meaning that it means that whatever what? Hold on. Pause for a second, guys. The fact that this shit didn't even get to matching and doubling, the fact that it didn't go from fucking 24 to 48, it went to 42. Hey, that part-time job may not seem as possible. You may need it. Maybe you may need to pick up some extra hours at work, but that's already crazy. So in 2006, before the crash, you would have went from, let's say 6 years later, not 15, 6 years later. Okay, the house median income price went from $169,000 to $257,000. That is another big increase. It wasn't even half a decade or a decade and a half. It was literally 6 years. Half a decade, 60% of a decade. $48,000 was the median income. So when the houses went from $169,000 to $257,000, your income, the median person's income, was only $42,000 to $48,000. You made $6,000 more when that house was in upwards of $50,000 to $60,000. So we went from 3.6 to 5.3 in 2006. Okay. In 2012, it went down. Hold the applause. So you're telling me the median house price in 2006, when the real estate market was a hot tamale, it went from 257 to 245. It's not even below 2. It's not even below 2000's level. So you're telling me that over the span of 2006 to 2012, the home prices, now of course this is not the actual aggregate data to show this. This is kind of just a general example for the gap that widened from the example and the data sets we have. But 257 to 245. Where is the difference? Okay. So you went from $48,000 to $53,000. $5,000. So do you notice that it went from 24 to 42 to 48 to 53? That's not an increase. That's a piss poor increase. That's a 1, 2, 3%. That's not acceptable. That won't work. Because now, yeah, sure, it's not the 2006 price ratio of 5.3, it was 4.6, but 2000, so 2012, 4.6. Okay, excuse me, 4.6. Then in 2006, 5.3. 2000 was 4, and 85 was 3.6. But now, In 2023, that house median, so from 2012 to 2023, that being 11 years, it went from 245,000 to 429,000. That went from the median income, this time was a big jump, 53 grand to 81 grand. But the 245 to the 429, and the difference between that 11-year period, it's fucking huge. It almost doubled. Maybe 46, 50% maybe of the increase of the median house price. So let's do it all in general. Let's just say you were a lucky son of a bitch. You bought the house in 1985 at $84,000. The house prices have risen 408%. 4x is the difference in house prices. Now, okay, did the income match the overall change? It went from 408 in our income since 85 are at 241%. You are less. You are like at 48%. You're short. Where are you going to find that 48%? Is it in your couch? Probably not. So this is a devastating reality for the bulk majority of Americans. And I'm going to screenshot this so you guys can see my little marker. So when I'm explaining it, it's more better because I know I'm a little hyped. But so why the prices outran paychecks? So the COVID era demand shock and stimulus drove buyers into a market that was already short on inventory. Now, there was a limited supply. Construction delays, zoning limits, investors converting homes into rentals tightened the stock of for-sale units. The ultra-low mortgage rates of 2000 to 2021 juiced the purchasing power when rates later popped above 7% of the monthly payments that jumped. But prices are proving to be sticky. Because people in a high interest rate environment today, where the yield right now, okay, let me actually go look up right now. What is the mortgage rate? What is the mortgage rate today? So today, fixed is it's 6.46%. And that's going to be a 30-year fixed. The lowest is a 15-year fix at 5.58%. Okay. All right, that's fair enough. So you're telling me, how does this make sense? How is the average person supposed to be able to own a generational asset of housing when this is happening? Because right now, of course it's going to be sticky, because Joe Blow down the street who just bought his house, why would he want to sell it? Why? Why would I want to move into another home? Because odds are I won't really have all the cash available from the liquidity of the loan. I might only have maybe a 20, 25, 35% of the house is my liquid. The rest is the bank loan I'm paying on a 30-year mortgage. It's been, let's say, 2 to 3 years, right? Maybe 5, who knows? And why would I move into another house when the mortgage rates are so high, but in 2021, I booked it in for 1, 2, 3% mortgage? Why would I do that? The monthly payment may go, and again, I'm making up fake numbers, right? From $1,500, and today it's $2,450. So why would I make that jump for me and my family when we're already comfortable in what we own? So that's the glut, the problem. Not saying that they should put interest rates to 0, because we're still behind on housing, but that's a later conversation for later. Anyways, so now general inflation versus housing. You see, since 1970, the CPI is up over 644%, but housing prices are up 1,600%. 1,600. Holy shit. At this point, you might as well open up the entire desert and allow us to become pioneers again and build homesteads out there. Because what is the point of battling with dipshits who have the liquidity to beat us? We can't handle that. It's so obvious. You're telling me the average person will not make a 1,600% price difference unless they are a doctor, a super nurse, or an AI tech guy just picked by Mark Zuckerberg. It won't happen. It's not going to happen. It's a fantasy. So boomers at age 30 in 1985 then turned around and were at 3.5x on their ratio. Millennials in 2019 are at 4.6. That is a 31% higher burden. More That is more for them to have to spend to buy the exact same equivalent home, and in some cases could be the same piece of shit you bought in 85 today. Now, the regional areas. Now, here's a great example. Okay, Nevada, from 2010 to 2022, this isn't even the hottest places in Nevada. This is just an average. Home prices are up 162%. Wages are up 47%. You're a renter. You're renting. You can't get that. You can't beat that. How? How? So, thank you, USA Facts. The fact is, we're fucked. I'm not even going to get into the fucking consequences. So, the other thing is, lenders cap housing costs at 28% of gross pay. I don't know if you guys know that or not. So, if you're already broke and you're already struggling, but you're not adding it at the 85, you're getting it at the 425, the 450, whatever the hell I said, there are going to be fewer qualifying buyers. So the first time you as a median might be able to get that is having to save another 10 to 15 years. Let's say that you're in your 30s. It may take you into about 40 to 45. You and your spouse saving money. Maybe you're picking up a job or two. Maybe you're Ubering. And you're putting together a stash to put an extra deposit down to get the mortgage. That's insane. Why do your parents get it better than you? Your parents, well, not all, but most of our parents are old. They're going to be around. They don't even give a shit right now about the current events in the world. They're over it. I'm not. Because I'm going to be around in this bitch for a minute. And I'm dealing with the consequences of the inadequate behavior of those that have come before me. So, here's the reality. Is at the end of the day, a 1% jump in the 30-year fixed rate adds $250 to $300 to the monthly payment on a median home. So that also hurts. It hurts us. So ultimately, at the end of the day, no one can hide around this data. No one can look to say that this isn't true. It is. It's in front of our face. So, America, what are we going to do with your 1985 bullshit? But, nevertheless, this is another great reminder of the reality, and the numbers don't lie to us. The economic environment does not lie to us. It tells the truth. Your politicians may lie, but the data here can't. Because what it needs to do is show us the actual truth and what we're dealing with. Because if you know what you're dealing with in the fight, because we're in a great battle in our country, if you understand the battle, you understand the fight, you are theoretically unstoppable.